Everyone knows Patrick Star as the dumbest character in Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants. He lives under a rock, forgets simple things, and somehow makes SpongeBob look intelligent. But what if that's actually not the case, and Patrick is hiding his intelligence in his huge five-head? Throughout the series, Patrick has done plenty of things which seem out of character for someone seen as stupid. In the episode Driven to Tears, SpongeBob is trying to pass Mrs. Puff's boating test. Claiming the test is rigged, Patrick decides to take it as proof, but ends up passing with a perfect score. For someone who ate his own learning cards, passing first time means he obviously has a photographic memory and can even make up for not having any fingers. In the rest of the episode, Patrick wins a new boatmobile for being the millionth person to pass and spends his time flexing on SpongeBob. How does the dumbest character in the show manage to get his license before SpongeBob, who has dedicated years trying to get it?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Puff!
You could argue that Patrick just got lucky, and because we didn't actually see the test, Mrs. Puff may have passed out. However, there are other times where Patrick shows us he's not as clueless as he seems. In the episode Porous Pockets, SpongeBob and Patrick find a giant clam choking on a pearl. Thinking it's a volleyball, the two take it to a volleyball court where they're offered billions of dollars. With his new fortune, SpongeBob feels charitable and offers some money to a fish who's short on change. He eventually becomes friends with people who are just around for his money, forgetting about his day one, Patrick. Now living like a king, SpongeBob takes notes from Mr. Beast and continues handing out his money to anyone who asks. That's when Patrick notices how money has changed SpongeBob. He warns him that those people aren't his friends, that they are just using him for his money, and that they will disappear when his wallet starts collecting dust. Not only does this show Patrick's emotional intelligence, warning his friend about the dangers of suddenly becoming rich, but his warning actually comes true. When SpongeBob finds he doesn't have any money left, his so-called friends have moved on, and Mr. Krabs tells him not to be late to his 9 to 5 the next day. Now, maybe Patrick isn't great at solving equations, but when it comes to understanding people, SpongeBob may actually be the clueless one. Another time Patrick stunned everyone by randomly gaining consciousness is in the episode Squid-tastic Voyage. In this episode, SpongeBob causes the reed from Squidward's clarinet to get stuck inside him. They then go to meet Sandy to figure out a way to retrieve the reed. The plan is for Sandy to go inside a submarine and shrink it so they can fit inside Squidward. However, while guarding it, SpongeBob and Patrick somehow end up inside the shrunken submarine instead. Sandy now has to guide them to Squidward's brain. When Patrick and SpongeBob begin fighting inside the vehicle, Squidward's stomach acid begins digesting the submarine. Now out of fuel, the vehicle can no longer move and everyone is out of ideas until Patrick comes up with the idea of drinking soda to
filter the CO2 through our ballast tanks, refire the engines, and ride the shockwave out of here.
Sandy is shocked by Patrick's idea, but then says he's right and the plan works. For his idea to surprise Sandy, who is one of the smartest characters in the show, a squirrel from Texas who's able to survive underwater in the tree dome, shows that Patrick might be pulling an act. When his life is in danger, he has to show his smarter side. In another episode called Boating School, SpongeBob is taking his 38th driving test. However, as usual, he fails the driving test miserably by crashing into a lighthouse. After explaining to Patrick how he can't pass the test, Patrick comes up with a genius plan. He puts a walkie-talkie inside SpongeBob's head so he can guide him through the test, and he also makes him wear a tall hat to hide the antenna. When it came to taking the test, SpongeBob began panicking again as usual. However, Patrick quickly reminds him what to do and how to drive properly, all while simultaneously eating SpongeBob's food and snooping through his diary. The instructions are so perfect that Mrs. Puff is surprised at how much SpongeBob has improved, but she jokes that someone far away must be helping him with the test and that there's an antenna under his hat for communication. While joking, Mrs. Puff says doing that would be cheating, which causes SpongeBob to lose it because he didn't realize. In this episode, Patrick managed to come up with a plan which even fooled Mrs. Puff, and he also managed to execute it perfectly, almost earning SpongeBob his license. In the episode Patrick SmartPants, while playing in Jellyfish Fields, Patrick falls off a cliff after failing to read a warning sign. SpongeBob rushes to the bottom only to find Patrick's head completely detached from his body, though he manages to quickly reattach it. However, something is immediately different about Patrick. He is no longer a drooling imbecile. Instead, he begins distancing himself from SpongeBob as he develops a sudden fascination with science, music, and math. Before long, Patrick is bonding with Squidward and Sandy, even humbling Squidward by mocking his clarinet playing and insulting Sandy's equation-solving skills. But as he becomes too smart for everyone around him, a deep sense of loneliness settles in. When he and SpongeBob look through their old scrapbooks together, Patrick is reminded of just how much fun he used to have before the accident. Desperate to regain his joy, Patrick takes SpongeBob and tries to force himself to enjoy their old hobbies, like jellyfishing and clam surfing, but the entertainment just isn't there anymore. That's when SpongeBob remembers that Patrick lost his whimsy the exact moment he fell off the cliff. In an attempt to undo the damage, Patrick decides to recreate the exact same fall. After crashing, they locate his original head and discover that the source of his hyperintelligence was actually a piece of brain coral that SpongeBob had accidentally attached to him. Faced with a massive decision between his newfound intellect and his old life, Patrick chooses to put his old head back on, valuing his friendship over absolute knowledge. With his original head back in place, everything goes back to normal. And while his genius was technically brought on by the coral, the situation still highlights Patrick's true potential. Even when handed supreme intellect, he still remembers what genuinely matters to him, proving that keeping the coral simply wasn't worth losing his happiness. Finally, in the episode The Secret Box, Patrick closely guards a box and refuses to let SpongeBob see what's inside. Throughout the entire episode, Patrick masterfully rage-baits SpongeBob, acting as though the contents are incredibly important and driving him to extreme lengths just to get a peek. Late that night, SpongeBob sneaks in to steal the box while Patrick is asleep. After accidentally thrashing the place, SpongeBob prepares to leave, but Patrick suddenly wakes up. At first, Patrick declares that their friendship is officially over, but he immediately walks back the decision and allows SpongeBob to look inside. After all that massive buildup, the box appears to hold nothing but a single piece of string. Satisfied, SpongeBob heads home. But once he is alone, Patrick pulls the string to reveal a secret compartment containing an embarrassing picture of SpongeBob at a Christmas party. By playing into his reputation as an idiot, Patrick managed to completely outsmart SpongeBob, making him believe a useless piece of string was all he cared about. When you look at all the evidence, from his perfect driving score to his tactical engineering, and his ultimate choice to throw away his intellect in Patrick SmartPants, a clear picture starts to form. Patrick isn't clueless. He has just figured out something that takes most people a lifetime to learn. Ignorance is bliss. He understands that the pressure of being a genius brings nothing but loneliness and misery, while living a simple life under a rock brings absolute happiness. Patrick Star isn't the dumbest character in Bikini Bottom. He might actually be the wisest.